All aboard the Mk2 Golf train. Speaking of which, this engine used to pull like a train.
You might recognise this lovely oak green paint and the iconic GTI 16 valve badge, but controversial, a 2.8 12 valve VR6, a D-valve conversion. For some, a VR6 conversion is probably dream engine spec.
I love a VR6, as you know.
Yeah, 3.2 24 valve.
Yeah, definitely.
The 12 valve, you know, if we go back a while, it was the only one that existed and the other ones came later. And I think these sound better.
Well.
They're more throaty, they sound good. Yeah, so dream engine spec for some, probably in something that didn't start as a more desirable GTI 16 valve or maybe a G60 or something. So if somebody had a 1.6 CL, putting this in, fantastic, what an upgrade. This is going to be a little bit controversial because these with the original engine, original paint colour, you know, the values are going up. There's this kind of collector, keep it original OEM factor. So yeah, you can all argue about that in the comments, which one's best. The owner of this one, this is how it came. It was bought like this. I don't know where it got it from or the history, but it's already been VR6 swapped, the KR's gone. And even if this was really healthy with some mods, this is not going to produce enough power without some kind of forced induction for the owner of this one.
What's the max you could get out of this realistically? If you're just doing internal mods, most you're going to get, what, 200 maybe? Because they're 174 from factory, aren't they? So maybe 200.
Somebody might have got a 210 out of it, but then where was it measured? You know?
Yeah.
Exhaust cams, ECUs, kind of things. Yeah, 210-ish.
But there's a problem with this. So you might have heard it doesn't sound 100% healthy. Sounds like it's missing on the cylinder. Not sure if it's that. Could be high lift cams. We don't know what it is, but we've just done a very brief diagnostic. And yeah, looks like these two cylinders, there's some anomaly going on there, isn't there? So,
as you can see, or hear, this thing's not very happy. Now, finding out what's wrong with it is actually not the aim of the game here, but there's one quick check we can do to just check. I need a light. We've got a light. And check the temperature of the different branches on the exhaust. So that one's dipping below 200 degrees, which is quite low. Its neighbours in the 340s, so I guess that's cylinder 6 is low, cylinder 5 is high, 4 is 260, 260 on 3.
Try not to burn your hand.
Actually, that's probably, let's have a look. Okay, yeah, so basically you've got four that are around 260, 270. One that's quite cold and one that's quite hot next to each other. It's clearly something not right with these two cylinders.
What do you reckon that is? Leanness or something?
Well, it's got the coil pack on it, so it could be that it's a coil pack issue. I think these were, well, it's a Volkswagen coil pack, so the chances are it could be problematic. It could be a combination. You could have one spluttering coil pack, a weak spark, and then you've got maybe you've got an injector or you've got an air leak. But I would say that those 4 cylinders are fine, and you've just got a problem with those 2. Having listened to this engine running for only a few minutes, mechanically it still sounds okay. It's fairly smooth. There's no harsh metallic noises, but it's got an imbalance. It could be down to the coil pack playing up, they're kind of known for it, or maybe there's a problem with an injector. There's no point going any further with the diagnostics of this engine because it's coming out.
First thing I noticed is, why are there no wings?
First of all, it ain't a plane. But anyway, it was in the investigation phase at a body shop, probing around, looking at what bits need rust repair before the whole car gets a fresh coat of Oak Green. However, if there's engine work going on after the paint, you'd end up with a nice engine in a nice car, but with a very tired looking engine bay. So I think it was my suggestion to get it over here, get the engine out, then the whole car can have the fresh paint, including the engine bay, and then whatever engine goes in, the whole car would look, full package. Very good.
All right, so let's have a little look around the engine bay of this and see little things we noticed. First of all, it has a ram air filter, which is great, but first thing we picked up is, typical conversion, comes straight out of a Mark III. We have loose connections, which, if they can reach a belt, they probably will. So if you're going a bit enthusiastically around the corner, they'll probably get lunched up in there. So not great, really. We're off to a good start, at least, because there is evidence of a new starter motor, a new battery terminals. So the thing should start very nicely, which we have seen it actually does. But there is some not so good things, like some judo chopped wiring and remnants of an old alarm system or something like that. Maybe the siren has been deleted, but someone has tried to get this thing running well, at least, because we have new MagnaCore HT leads. We have new spark plugs as well. So someone has actually spent a bit of time, a bit of money trying to get this thing working. We also have a VR6 Corrado radiator as well, which some people are a fan of, some people not so much. But yeah, if it works, then what's the issue? However, none of that matters because it is coming out. Let's have a look at this iconic Oak Green Mk2 Golf, and we'll see where the bodywork needs some attention from the body shop. Initial investigation from the body shop has revealed some little delights that can so often be used to describe typical condition for the age bro, where what that actually means is it's skidding on the pants of existence and will need restoring before it sees another MOT, otherwise will be recycled into a tin of no fun beans. Like so many Mk2 Golf GTIs, the plastic arches and sill covers seem to have trapped water and caused the metal behind to rust. Whilst this non-existent metal may have increased the power to weight ratio, new metal is going to have to go back in before paint so the car can live on for another 30 years. However, before all that, we have to get the lumpy VR6 out of the engine bay so that the whole car can look minty fresh. So on the 12th of September 1995, this 2.8 VR6 was produced at Volkswagen, making 174 brake horsepower. But out it comes. Let's crack on.
It's long old little bolt.
Isn't it? Slightly over-engineered.
Over-spec'd. That's a little... you can cut bolts down. Whoever fitted that, you can cut bolts down. I think we're there.
Wow.
Probably needs to be about that long, but it's that long. That's different, look.
Oh yeah, it's that shroud and headlight. Is that for...
Probably, it'd be a guess if I said it's OEM 1612 because I've never had one. So. Is that on yours?
I don't know. Don't think so.
Have a look next time.
Yeah. It's quite often rusty on these. Let's see how bad this one is.
We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 at least holes there. Standard place to rot.
They do go there. That's where mine have gone. Lovely. But that's just a repair panel normally, isn't it?
So nice, easy place to do, really.
Yeah.
if it, it was left to continue, it'd be just rubbing on there. It should have some protection.
Just with the chew too, isn't it? Especially because that edge is sharp as well, isn't it?
I mean, it's not like razor sharp, but it's not. Yeah, it's not wrapped in anything.
No.
Oddness.
Wrap your cable looms.
I'm quite happy for it to drain at that pace.
That was quite skillfully done. No coolant on shoes.
Nope.
No, I still got some on my shoes.
There's probably some bullshit under there. Chock blocks. Just somebody can be bothered to solder or put crimp to in the same terminals.
Yeah.
So it's probably only just touching.
You can get your finger under there.
Yeah. Do it properly, folks.
Yep. So that is using a Mark II front cross member, where if you have a Corrado VR6 cross member, then the mount is recessed further down basically, and then the mount actually, the bracket actually sits on it nicely.
Look, it's a bit loose, that one was. Also not very tight. Ta-da!
Ear defenders should be worn. There you go.
That's actually quite easy.
Big powerful
It
gun.
is. It is very powerful. The GCF 900.
You reckon we got mismatching suspension?
Get the vernier caliper on these coilovers. 40. Something strange is going on. Oh, yeah. 20.
Hang on, look.
Same this side.
Wow.
What? Hey? They're not done up properly. Something's not right.
They're not normally like that, are they?
No. Locking wheel nut, which is 19. And random selection of bolts. That's the wrong one. That's also the wrong one. That's a VW one.
Despite this Oak Green Mk2 Golf being modified with the big capacity engine, there are some original features still remaining, such as this lower air duct to direct air into the radiator, otherwise lazy air will take the path of least resistance, around the radiator, potentially leading to poor cooling. We will do our best to retain parts like these during the build, as they do work as well as being a nice OEM piece.
Sounds like my back. That bit. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, that should
Yeah.
come off. There you go. That's So someone's broke that because they probably didn't know you have to take it off. What a shame. But if you want to get a replacement, it's just that one piece.
Yeah.
Got a cable.
Jesus, wet.
Oh, did that snap? I want to do. That was a bit of a. I felt that resonate from a chest.
Does it now do righty loosey? That's the problem. That felt horrible.
Use your strength, man. Come on.
Eventually we get the lumpy 2.8 removed so that it can be either sold, turned into a table or used as a boat anchor. The VR6 was originally developed as a diesel during early prototypes, but due to the narrow 15-degree angle V, it would have been too much of a challenge to obtain the high compression needed for diesel combustion. What it does mean though, is that these engines are particularly well suited to forced induction due to being able to cope with higher compression than conventional V6s. Therefore, I'm sure this engine will live on and continue making old school Wookiee sounds.
There is a first. This ECU from the 2.8 12 valve VR6, somebody glued it down, so I had a bit of a fight and it's taken out some of the sound deadening with it. And then where it's been converted to the hydraulic clutch, the cable clutch grommet has still been just left open, same for the speedo cable. So moisture and creatures can just have free access to the interior.
So as you can see, the engine is out. Didn't actually put up too much of a fight, which is quite nice because you never really know with these things.
Well, there's nothing seized, so there was a few helping bolts that they weren't that tight. So
yeah,
all in all,
makes a change because normally on my car, a 5-minute job suddenly turns into a 4-hour job because everything's seized solid. But no, this one came out well because with it being come from a previous owner, you don't know the history of it or anything like that.
No.
You never know what sort of little things you might encounter, but this has gone well.
This is a good time, something different. This is a good time to see which bits of this are Mark II and which bits are Mark III or something different altogether. We can see it's got a Mark III subframe, the single bolt engine and gearbox mounts. We've got a Mark III expansion tank. The cable clutch is gone and we've got the hydro clutch. We've got Mark II servo
and master cylinder and brake reservoir. No, that's a Mark III, isn't
the
it?
reservoir's got the takeoff for the hydro.
Yeah. So yeah, all this is going to come out now, isn't it? And then it's ready for paint.
Yeah, to paint the bay, this has got to be completely stripped.
Yeah. All right. So on that note, the next episode that you will see on this is going to be the new engine, which is going to be coming in, and with the car being completely fresh and nicely painted. So that is going to be a good one. So we'll see you next time on Southeast Mark II Golfs.